Hey guys, how's it going? A few months ago I was talking to somebody that I know that works in retail, and we were talking about the new GoPro Hero 6 that came out last year. I was saying that I thought it was a really good camera, but I really resented the thought of having to pay nearly £400 for the camera. And he basically said to me, why don't you just get a cheap action cam? Because as far as he was concerned, they were equally as good. Now, I was very skeptical about this. Some of the arguments he used didn't really hold water with me. He basically said things like the technology in them was the same, the lenses were the same, they probably came out of the same factory. And yeah, to look at one of these cameras, they do look pretty much like a GoPro. But he said, don't waste £300-400 on a GoPro. Get one of the cheap action cameras because it will give me just the same experience. And as I mentioned, I was really skeptical about this, but a couple of weeks ago I was sitting there thinking, I thought, I wonder if I got a cheap action cam, how good it actually would be. Because I pretty much think it's going to be garbage. I really don't see the point in a really cheap action camera because I've always thought you get what you pay for. But I was bored and I was looking through certain websites where you can get these things from. And I stumbled across an action camera that was £25, £24.99, and I thought this is probably one of the cheapest cameras you can get. So I ordered it with the intention of seeing actually how good it is, because I don't think it's going to be that good. But anyway, it took a little while to come, but eventually it got here and we ended up with the sports cam. According to the box, it is full 1080p at 15 frames per second and 720p 30 frames per second. It's going to have a super wide angle lens giving 140 degrees and waterproof up to 30 meters. So, how good actually is this camera? Well, let's get this thing open, put it through a few tests and see. So in here there are absolutely loads of accessories. We have the camera and tons of accessories. Yay, cable ties. It's like a wrist strap. A second back door for the housing. Stickers to hold the mount. A cleaning cloth. Tripod mount. Handlebar mount. USB-C to USB cable. Second tripod mount. Various different clip mounts. Clip mount, clip mounts. So anyway, we've got loads of mounts now, and to be fair, buying these on their own, they're all interchangeable and compatible with GoPro. So that is pretty cool to start with. You'd probably pay 10, 15, maybe £20 for all of these mounts. So even if the camera is crap, really not lost any money because all of those mounts could actually be useful. So the camera itself is very reminiscent of the early GoPros. The housing is slightly different, but the camera itself is very reminiscent, very similar to the early GoPros. It looks very much like the Hero 3, Hero 4. So first thing it says is it is HD 1080. Now if it can produce images at 1080 with a wide field of view, it might be worthwhile. Two buttons on the side here, which I'm guessing will be used for going through the menus, USB-C mount and micro SD card slot. And the battery comes in here, which is 3.7 volt 900 milliamp battery. So I can go back in there. Power button is on the front along with the mode select, so again runs basically the same way a GoPro does. Just clips in there, turn the thing on. So sports camera. Then we can scroll through the different settings. So 1080 video there, camera, voice recorder. So in terms of the menus, set to 1080p. Options we have there: 1080p, 720p and VGA. We'll leave that on 1080p. The first thing I'm noticing is it does look like a pretty good image on the camera, so hopefully it'll translate to just as good an image when we actually do some recording. But first things first, we've got the housing here for the camera, which does look pretty sturdy, and it looks like it's got a good seal on it. So we'll pop that open, get the camera inside, and test if this thing is indeed waterproof.
A few minutes later.
So we know this thing is waterproof. It certainly didn't leak when I popped it into the sink. So not great picture quality on the sink test, but that was indoors, the light probably wasn't right. Let's take this out with some decent light and see what this can do out and about in a proper field test. Okay, so the picture quality certainly isn't anywhere near HD, it's certainly not anywhere near 720. This is probably coming in somewhere between VGA and 480, so picture quality wise isn't anywhere near what the box is advertising it at. In terms of the field of view, it is nowhere near the wide angle, again, the box is telling us that we're going to get. The picture is pretty much square and it is very cropped. Compare shots that I took with this camera to shots I took at the same time from the same place with one of my GoPro cameras. You'll see that the field of view on the GoPro is so much bigger. You get that slight fisheye warping, which is synonymous with GoPros, but with this, it is a very tight field of view. In fact, even when I did some vlog style shots of my face, this camera doesn't give you enough field of view to get my whole head into the shot, whereas the GoPro will get a nice really wide angle where I fit properly into the shot. So what would this camera be good for? If you are on a really tight budget, and I mean really tight, and you cannot afford GoPro money, I appreciate they're not cheap, then something like this might suit your needs. But if you're wanting something to take good, high quality, high definition video, then this certainly is not the way to go. This is probably something where if you need a really cheap action cam for something, then maybe. If you need something where the picture quality, the sound quality doesn't matter, then maybe. But for the average person that is wanting some decent outdoor footage, I would steer clear. For £25 I didn't expect a lot, and I didn't get a lot. The accessories, they're a bonus. They are actually probably worth the price I paid for the camera. It is essentially what I paid for a £25 camera, and while some people might not be able to pay an awful lot more for a camera, this might suit their needs, but I honestly doubt it. For anyone that is wanting a decent camera, save your money, buy a higher end camera. Maybe even save that little bit extra and get the GoPro. So would I recommend this camera? No. You are getting exactly what you paid for though. You're getting a £25 camera. Luckily, the accessories are all interchangeable with GoPro, so it's not a waste of money. But if you're wanting a camera that you can actually use, get a GoPro. So thanks very much for watching, guys. Please hit the like button if you like this video. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'll see you really soon for another video. Thanks for watching.